So, still not quite awake. Alright, so we're on remote location today. Alright, not really remote. In fact, you may recognize this. So far, the best part of today. Let's see, can we get that in there? Yeah. That good old Dharma logo. Totally freaked out my daughter. I'll link it to my blog, it'll make more sense. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, I've got drain pan, funnel, oil, some rags, new filter, cameras, wrenches, and a jack, and behind me cardboard, and the tires are chocked in the back. I guess we'll see if I'm ready. Let's climb underneath. Alright, I know some of this is going to seem a little mundane for those that know what they're doing, but for those that don't know what they're doing, this little lever opens the hood. And then, right under here, I don't know how well you can see, there's a little lever, you slide it, and then the hood opens. Hood's on hydraulics, so you don't need to worry about it falling over on you. Now, I learned in one of the videos I found, if you dipstick should not be that hard to get out, but he said crack open the dipstick to let air come out before you pop the drain plug underneath. So I love living close to my dad. It's one of the reasons we bought the house that we're in, and it's nice to be close, to help him out, he helps me, all sorts of stuff like that, where it really does make it worthwhile. And I'm sure we get on each other's nerves sometimes, but it's worth it. One of the good things is I have all of his tools at my disposal if need be. However, he does not label his drawers like I do, which means I have no idea where things are, which means I have to go through each drawer one by one and look. Now, one thing I do in mine, besides label, is whenever I pull a tool out, I'll leave the drawer just open, so I very quickly know what drawer I've pulled a tool out of and which one I haven't. Makes it a little bit easier. Alright. Not a big fan of using channel lock oil wrenches unless I have to, and I have to because that one's not big enough. You catch that? I'm not an expert. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, take it to a dealer or a local mechanic, somebody that knows what they're doing. I've changed oil before. The process is pretty much the same no matter what kind of car you have. Parts and whatnot will be different sizes, oil will be different types. And unfortunately these days, most owner's manuals and car guides don't give you all the specific details that you really need to do it yourself. Thankfully, YouTube is out there to fill in the gaps. Jacking up a big car like this always makes me a little bit nervous. That's where that claustrophobia comes in. I fit barely. Let's see if I can get a shot. So, can't really even point. This is an aftermarket step running board. So you can see how kind of tight it is there. But anyway, I fit. So I'm going to skip the jack and the jack stands and all that stuff and just crawl under. Whenever you crawl under a car, always block the tires or chalk the tires. Chalk like chock full of nuts, not like chalk on a chalkboard. I also learned from my dad, when you crawl under a car, use cardboard to slide on, because you can slide a little bit easier than on concrete or pavement or whatever you're on. For tools, you'll need a drain pan or catch pan or whatever you want to call it. I've also got a socket wrench with a 5/8 socket on it. Now, one little tip, I don't know how well you can see, the oil is going to come shooting this way, so make sure one edge is, make sure your pan is offset, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Alright, now it's loose. Now I did run the engine a little bit, warm up the oil. Now as soon as I start to see oil, or as soon as I think I can start taking this thing off by hand, I will. This feels like it's going to be a little bit hard. Now if you can, get your other hand on the drip pan in case you need to move it for some reason. Man, that is hard. Ah, and I just got my socket dirty. Damn it. Oh well. It was gonna happen. It's gonna shoot out, so be prepared. See, you're gonna get dirty. Now, this will take about 6 to 7 quarts of oil, so make sure you got a pan big enough. Alright, we're going to let that film and crawl out while we wait. Now, I'm not in a particular rush, but no sense wasting time. While you're waiting for it to drain, clean your plug. Some of the newer cars have magnets in the plug, so see if there's any metal. That would not be a good thing to see metal. But just clean it off. Make sure everything looks good. Clean off your wrench. Alright, now we could sit here all day and wait for this thing to drip, drip, drip. But what I'm going to do is make sure the outside is about as clean as it can get. Now, obviously it's still dripping oil. The only way to stop that is put your plug back in. Always start it by hand. Always. You don't want to cross-thread that sucker. That will ruin your day, and then some. Crank it. Nice and good. Try it again. Move your drain pan. I know that may seem counterintuitive, but first, if it leaks, you'll see a drip, and then you'll see it down here. So what you want is a nice oil-free surface to see if anything's leaking. Here's our filter. It's got this little drain here. So we want to position under both as much as we can, just in case. Now, these should only be on finger tight. Well, I got some oil in the driveway. That sucks. Alright, you get your filter out, turn it upside down, and leave it in the pan. And from what I can see, this little drip tray here sucks. I got nothing coming out of here, just a little bit there, and If we get up there nice and close, that's where your filter goes. Now you want to look, I can't really point from here, but that shiny outer ring, you want to make sure that that's clean and has no gasket. Same on the shiny inner ring. And just make sure everything looks clean. Now, all I do is I squeeze the bottle just a little bit, and it raises the oil level, making sure your finger is clean. Get it in there. Get that O-ring wet. Just the tip. And make sure you lube it up before you put it in. Alright, put the lid back on this. Well, you know what? This went in sideways. I'm going to put in just a little dribble. I don't know that you necessarily have to do that, but that's what I was taught. So, makes me feel better. Alright, save the box for later. Let's go put it on. And now the filter. See how easy it spins? That's why you want to do this by hand. Because again, if you cross thread that, you're screwed. Now, you want to put it on tight. As tight as you can manage by hand. That's how I was taught to do it. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, now this is where the new oil goes. It even says right on the lid, SAE 5W20. And it should just screw right off and then pop up. Man, that looks disgusting inside. Well, that was beyond disgusting, but I cleaned it up a little bit. Set that aside. Don't necessarily want to stick your dirty rag in there. Get yourself a funnel. See, it's got a foil top. You don't want that foil inside. So all I'm going to do is puncture it, and then very carefully peel it off and set it aside. And once I get most of it gone, I'm good. There we go. I know it'll take at least 5 quarts, so I'm not going to worry about checking it until after this whole bottle is in there. And yeah, I spilled a little bit. Alright, I'm only going to put in maybe half. And then we'll see where we're at, check our level. Hard to see without the light. Our drain plug looks good. Sorry, that way. Again, hard to see, but she looks okay. Okay, it says to reset the oil monitoring system to 100% after each oil change, approximately 5,000 miles or 180 days, perform the following. Press and release the setup control to display oil life equals blank %, hold reset equals new. Press and release the setup. Okay, so info setup reset. There's my menu. It says oil change required. Press reset to clear. Hold there we go. That's what we're looking for. Hold reset equals new. Need to quit reading and just do it. Oil life set to 100%. Mostly because they're not mine, but also because it's what I was taught. Clean the tools off when I'm done with them. One thing I forgot to show you is labeling is key, and I did that on the filter. I put today's date. All I did is pour a little gas in here, and we'll swish it around. I don't know where this brush came from, but I like it. Let's go for a ride. All right. Oil change done. Let's go run in there and see how she does. just me? Does everybody else have the post office delivering Amazon on Sundays?